welcome you to my last video, the 11th one on narration. In the last 3 videos, including this one, we are solving the questions that came in the last 17 years in the higher secondary final examination. And today, in this last video, we will solve the questions that came in 2018, 19 and 2020. This is the first question that came in 2018, and as per our serial, it is number 26. The speaker said, "I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me a kind hearing. When I arrived here yesterday, I did not believe that I might meet so large a gathering." This is a long sentence, and here actually you see there is an address, ladies and gentlemen. This ladies and gentlemen, when you speak before an audience, at that time people usually use these words, ladies and gentlemen. This is how they address the gathering. So these ladies and gentlemen are the words that the speaker used as a means of, this just shows the speaker's politeness, his respectfulness. So that is why we have written in this way, the speaker respectfully, or you can say politely, addressed the gathering. Because ladies and gentlemen, these two words he used, that is usually used just at the beginning of a speech. So the speaker respectfully or politely addressed the gathering and thanked them. He said, "I thank you, ladies and gentlemen." So this ladies and gentlemen we are not using here. Instead of that, we are writing, the speaker respectfully addressed the gathering and thanked them for giving him a kind hearing. For giving me. Me is the first person word used in its object form, and if we have a first person word in direct narration, it is changed into what? It is changed into the subject of the reporting verb. Subject of the reporting verb is the speaker. We already have used the speaker. So instead of that, we will use he. And since me is in its object form, we will use the object form of me, of he, that is him. So the speaker respectfully addressed the gathering and thanked them for giving him a kind hearing. This forgiving me became forgiving him a kind hearing. Then another sentence is there. This sentence is in simple past tense. When I arrived here yesterday, this I is the first person word, and in its place we will use the subject of the reporting verb, he. Instead of the speaker, we will use he. When I arrived, simple past tense will become past perfect tense. It means when he had arrived, here will become there. When he added that, when he had arrived, here will become there. Yesterday will become the day before. So when I arrived here yesterday, this is changed into when he had arrived there the day before. I did not believe. I did not believe is simple past tense used in negative. So we will use past perfect tense in negative. I did not believe will become he had not believed that I might meet will become that he might meet so large a gathering. Now the question is, instead of writing the speaker respectfully addressed the gathering and thanked them, you could also say the speaker thanked ladies and gentlemen. This way also you can say the speaker thanked ladies and gentlemen for giving him a kind hearing. But this one is better since these words, ladies and gentlemen, they symbolize politeness and respect. So better to use in this way. The other way is the speaker thanked ladies and gentlemen for giving him a kind hearing. And the remaining portion you see, when I arrived here, this part is just an addition. This is the second sentence. So we already have learned that when we have a similar type of thing, then first sentence was assertive, again second sentence is assertive. Before the second sentence, he added or he also said. Or if you choose it, even if you don't write this, he added that. If you remove these 3 words, you just write, when he had arrived there the day before, he had not believed that he might meet so large a gathering. That would also be okay. But he added or he also said. Using these words before starting the second sentence, it's better. Let us see the question and the answer again. The speaker said, "I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me a kind hearing. When I arrived here yesterday, I did not believe that I might meet so large a gathering." And the answer is, the speaker respectfully addressed the gathering for giving him a kind hearing He added that when he had arrived there the day before, he had not believed that he might meet so large a gathering. This was the first question that came in 2018, and the next question that we are going to solve is the second question that came in the same year. That will be our serial number 27. This was the second question that came in 2018. His mother exclaimed in sorrow that she had not a bit of bread to give him, and that he had eaten up all the provisions she had had in the house the previous day. This may appear to be difficult for you, and it is not that easy either. His mother exclaimed in sorrow. This means that the sentence is an exclamatory sentence, and there will be alas. His mother said, alas. Then what did she see? What did she say? She said, exclaimed in sorrow that she had not a bit of bread. She had not a bit of bread. This she, what will it be changed into? She is the subject of the reporting verb. She and his mother, they are the same. This means that the subject of the reporting verb is used here. This means in direct narration it was first person, I. His mother said, alas, I. She had not will become I have not. A bit, B-I-T, bit means piece. I have not a piece of bread. I have not a bit of bread to give you, I have written. Why? The mother said she had not a bit of bread to give him. When she was speaking to her son, she said, I have not a bit of bread to give you. Alas, I have not a bit of bread to give you. Then she also said, and that. From here, a different type of sentence will start, because the first part is exclaimed in sorrow. This means after this exclaimed in sorrow, these words, these are an exclamatory sentence. What is it? Alas, I have not a bit of bread to give you. And the second part it is and that. This means the next part is a different type of sentence, and that he had eaten up. Mother told her son that he had eaten up. It means in direct narration she said, you have eaten up. You have eaten up all the provisions she had had. See this. She had is past perfect tense. Don't be afraid that why double had is here. This first had is the auxiliary. This is the main verb. In past perfect tense we know that first the auxiliary is used had. Then comes the main verb in its third form, past participle form. So here interestingly the main verb is also have. So main verb it is have, its past participle is had, this is the had, and this is the auxiliary that had, that is mandatory for all sentences, for any sentence in past perfect tense, whatever be the main verb, auxiliary is had, it is common. And this second had is the main verb. So the mother said that to her son that he had eaten up all the provisions. You have eaten up all the provisions that she had had, that I had. The mother, when she spoke, she said, you have eaten up all the provisions that I had. Past perfect tense will be changed into simple past tense. Now the question may be that if we get past perfect tense in indirect narration, then we know that in direct narration it was either present perfect or simple past. But here we have no choice. Here we must use simple past. We cannot write present perfect because there is the time phrase, the previous day. The previous day in indirect narration will become yesterday in direct narration, and when something happened in yesterday, when the use of the word yesterday is there, it cannot be present perfect. It must be simple past tense. So she had past perfect, it will become I had in the house the previous day will become yesterday. His mother said, alas, I have not a bit of bread to give you. You have eaten up all the provisions I had in the house yesterday. If you check the question paper of this year, you will find that in the question paper actually this had been written only once, and that is wrong. Why wrong? Because since the previous day is written, since this is in indirect narration, so in indirect narration previous day is written, it means the verb should be in past perfect tense. And if you write only one had, you must use, after had you must give the past participle of the main verb. If there is no other verb, then this cannot be past perfect. So there should have been two had, which was not there. If you check the question paper of that year, you will find it. Let us see the question and answer again. His mother exclaimed in sorrow that she had not a bit of bread to give him, and that he had eaten up all the provisions she had had in the house the previous day. His mother said, "Alas, I have not a bit of bread to give you. You have eaten up all the provisions I had in the house yesterday." So look at this sentence again and again, try to understand. It is not that easy, and if you still find any mistake, you are welcome to make your comments in the comment box. I will respond to you to help you solve your problem and to satisfy you. So this was the last question that came in 2018. The next two questions will be those that came in 2019. This is the first question that came in 2019. Rina said to the boy, "What's the matter? Why are you crying? Be cheerful." Here this is the direct narration, and there are three sentences very clearly given. Three sentences. The first two sentences are interrogative and the last one is an imperative sentence. So for the first two sentences we will use the word asked as a common word, and after writing the first sentence we will change it. In the changed form, when we write this first sentence, we will then write and then we will write the second question in its changed form. So Rina said to the boy, since this is an interrogative sentence, it will be Rina asked the boy, "What's the matter?" It means what is the matter. This what is, when you write it in indirect narration, we will write in assertive form, and this is will be changed into was, and it will go at the end. What the matter was. Rina asked the boy what the matter was. Not Rina asked the boy what was the matter. No. What's the matter or what is the matter? Is has come before the matter. But in the indirect narration we will write the sentence in assertive form. So this is that is changed into was will go after the matter. So Rina asked the boy what the matter was, and then you add the next question. Why are you crying? And why he was crying. Are you crying? Why are you? You is second person. Second person will be changed into the object of the reporting verb, the boy. The boy is already written once. So in place of boy we will write he. And so far as the tense is concerned, why are you crying? Present continuous tense. It will be changed into past continuous tense. And in the question, the sentence is in direct narration. The auxiliary are has come before the subject you. But in the indirect narration, we will write the sentence in assertive form. The auxiliary will go after the subject. And the subject you will be changed into he. Auxiliary are will be changed into was. So he was. In the question it is are you, and in the answer it will be he was. Why are you will be changed into why he was crying. Rina asked the boy what the matter was and why he was crying. Now coming to the last part. Be cheerful. This is imperative sentence, and that in imperative sentence we use advice. This is an advice clearly. So she advised him to be cheerful. We have got it earlier that in imperative sentence the sentence begins with the main verb, and when we change it into indirect narration we just add to. After to we use the main verb. She advised him to be cheerful. There is another way. The way we have written the two interrogative sentences together, we have joined them by and. Rina asked the boy what the matter was and why he was crying. Here also we could have added the last sentence, the imperative one also, using and. Without giving full stop, we could have written like this. Rina asked the boy what the matter was and why he was crying. Rina asked the boy what the matter was and why he was crying, and advised him to be cheerful. You could have written in a single sentence in this way, no matter. So let us see the question and the answer again. Rina said to the boy, "What's the matter? Why are you crying? Be cheerful." The answer is, Rina asked the boy what the matter was and why he was crying. She advised him to be cheerful. This was the first question that came in 2019, and the second question that came in the same year is the next one. This is serial number 29. The customer inquired if he could get a garden roller in that shop. The assistant respectfully replied that he would get it in the hardware department. So here a new word you have got. The customer inquired. This inquired actually is the same as asked. You are familiar with the word inquiry. When you make an inquiry, you inquire, you ask, you want to know something. So inquired means asked, the same thing. The customer inquired if he could get a garden roller in that shop. The customer said, if he could get. This he is the customer himself. So he is the subject of the reporting verb. This means in direct narration it was first person I. The customer said, if he could, simple past tense, it will become simple present. In place of could, it will become can. In place of he, it will become I. And since it is an interrogative sentence, can will come before I. Here could came after he because the sentence was written in assertive form because it is an indirect narration. But in the direct narration, we have to write the sentence in the interrogative form. I am repeating these things every time I discuss so that you do not forget it. So the customer said, can I get a garden roller in this shop? In the question it was in that shop. In direct narration it will be in this shop. Then the reply given by the assistant was, the assistant respectfully replied. Respectfully, it is equivalent to politely. When you show respect, when you show politeness, you use the word sir. The assistant respectfully replied that he would get it in the hardware department. The assistant replied, or the assistant said, sir, you will get it. He would get it. He here refers to the customer. Sir, you will get it in the hardware department. Let us take the question and the answer again. The customer inquired if he could get a garden roller in that shop. The assistant respectfully replied that he would get it in the hardware department. The answer is, the customer said, can I get a garden roller in this shop? The assistant replied, sir, you will get it in the hardware department. This was the second question that came in 2019, and we are going to do the two questions that came in 2020 now. This is the part of his historic talk between Alexander and Porus. When Alexander captured the land of Porus, he asked this question, how do you desire to be treated? And Porus replied, he answered, like a king. I want to be treated like a king. So Alexander said to Porus, how do you desire to be treated? This is a WH question. Alexander asked Porus how. How will remain how. Just here H is capital because it is at the beginning of the quotation, at the very beginning. And here it is in the middle, so we will write H as a small letter. How do you desire? This do you desire simple present tense will be changed into simple past tense. One thing. And second thing is that do is used to make it interrogative, but we will write the sentence in the assertive form, so we will not write any auxiliary. Don't think we will write did instead of do. No auxiliary will be used because our sentence will be an assertive sentence. So do will be removed first thing. Tense will be changed into simple past tense. This is one thing. You is the second person word, it will be changed into the object of the reporting verb. Porus, it means he. So Alexander asked Porus how he desired. Simple past tense, D will be used after the verb desire. Alexander asked Porus how he desired to be treated. Similar sentences of similar simple present tense we got earlier also. What about Porus' reply? He answered like a king. He answered or replied, same thing. Since it is answered here, we should write the word answered. He answered that, he said like a king. Like a king means I desire to be treated like a king. That is the complete expression. He answered that he desired to be treated like a king. Such sentences we got earlier also. Answer is given only in words, only in phrases, but we make the indirect narration in complete sentence. Possibly two more such examples we got earlier. Let us check the question and the answer again. Alexander said to Porus, how do you desire to be treated? He answered like a king. Answer is, Alexander asked Porus how he desired to be treated. He answered that he desired to be treated like a king. Now we are going for the last question that came in 2020, and this is the last question of our practice also. That number will be number 31. The boys exclaimed in joy that they had all passed the test and that they would celebrate their success the next day. This is an indirect narration, and here again the sentence is an exclamatory sentence because exclaimed in joy is there. So the boys said, since they exclaimed in joy means hooray, that they had all passed. That they had all passed. When they spoke, they used the word we. Hooray, we have all passed the test. There will be a full stop because this is one sentence. In this indirect narration, there are actually two sentences. After this end, the remaining part that they would celebrate, that is an assertive sentence. So when we give a full stop, we don't need to write and, because and was used here to connect the two sentences. But here, since we are using full stop, this will cover up the meaning, the implication of and. Here we will start a new sentence in assertive form. And that they would celebrate their success. We will celebrate our success the next day, tomorrow. The boys exclaimed in joy that they had all passed the test and that they would celebrate their success the next day. The boys said, hooray, we have all passed the test. We will celebrate our success tomorrow. Full stop, unquote. Remember, I have told it many times. Full stop, unquote. When you start a quotation somewhere, you have to close the quotation somewhere. When you start a quotation somewhere, you have to close somewhere the quotation. So, with this we come to the end of our long discussion on narration, and there are as many as 11 videos. In the last 4 videos, including this one, we have solved the questions that came in the last 17 years, from 2004 to 2020. And in the earlier 7 videos, we discussed the rules of changing narration from direct to indirect and vice versa for all the 5 types of sentences. And then in our final examination questions solving, we have got 31 sentences. But during those initial videos where we discussed the rules, there also every day we discussed 5 sentences from direct to indirect, another 5 from indirect to direct, and then 5 homeworks also I gave. And then a total of not less than 100 sentences, 100 questions have been done of different types. So the basic things, I once again ask you to remember those things, that when we change narration, what do we actually change? This is what I told in the very first video. We change pronoun, we change tense, we change time phases, and then most importantly we change the punctuation mark. That is the most important thing, because change of tense, that may not be mandatory. Sometimes without changing tense we do, sometimes the pronoun remains the same, but change of punctuation mark is the most important change. Without this change, you cannot change narration. Other changes are all depend on the basis of what type of sentence you get, you decide whether to use or not. And then from what tense we change to what tense, from what pronoun we change to what pronoun. All these were given in the very first video. And then again we got that if the reporting verb is in the past tense, then only the tense of the reported speech is changed. This is very important. Then we also got that even if the reporting verb is in the past tense, still the tense of the reported speech may not be changed if the reported speech is a universal truth or a habitual action or a proverb. So many things we discussed, and then a good number of sentences also are solved. I am sure if you watch the videos with full attention, and if you are really interested in these things, then you will get a good understanding of narration. You can go for collecting questions from any other sources and you can work on them, you can solve them, and if you need any help from me, you can provide those questions in the comment box. I will try to help you, I try to make things easier for you. With this kind of hope, let us stop here, and wishing to meet you soon in our next video with some new topic. Thank you very much.